Yes, you're still watching Morning Flakes of a new dawn on OGTV. And of course, Laura told you that you don't really want to miss anything. And I tell you, this is going to be very interesting because, we're all waiting eagerly. And of course, it's almost upon us talking about the new season. You saw the Community Shield in England. And I don't know, maybe that's why I guess he's coming to the studio with an Arsenal jersey. They are the English champions, but we're not talking about Arsenal, we're not talking about England, we're talking about European football season generally. From Premier League to La Liga to Bundesliga to Serie A to name it. We are going to be traveling around different European countries to talk about European season. So we have in the studio Mr. Jayola Shoyemi, a sports analyst, and of course he's going to be, dissecting this with us. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Thank you very much.
And welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Talking about the new European season, for me, I don't even know what to expect because I've seen quite a number of club friendlies, I've seen quite a number of transfers. Some you don't even expect. You talk about the move of Danny Welbeck, and you are wondering why are they going for Welbeck at this stage? So, for me, I don't know what to expect. I don't know. So let me start by asking you, what do you think we should expect? For some of us that don't even know, we're looking at the transfers, we're looking at the friendlies, we're looking at a whole lot of things. What do you think football lovers and enthusiasts should expect as we are waiting for the beginning of the new European season?
Thank you very much once again. As the season beckons, we've started by having the Community Shield for England as the igniter, and like you said earlier, all the pre-seasons are to get the respective teams in shape so that they can know, okay, what do we need to bring in, what do we need to take out. For England, for instance, we have the regular top six to expect some things from. We have Arsenal, we have Chelsea, you have Man City, you have Man U, you have Liverpool, and of course you have Tottenham. All of these teams have gone through various transitions. When you look at Chelsea, for instance, you said they bought Welbeck. Now, Welbeck is a fine player. From his days at Man U, he came to Arsenal, then he went to Brighton, now he's back at Chelsea. If you look at his records over the years, he's delivered so well in all of these clubs. So you don't say he has nothing to offer. When you look at his goal tally last season, I think he did better than some even younger strikers that we have around. Then look at that. So, and Chelsea has also brought in a new manager with the exit of Maresca, then Rossignol. All of those are going to be igniting new fire in the players. So I think Chelsea has some things to prove to the English football fans this season to say that, oh, okay, here we are, and they've also offloaded some players, some players we can call who are not delivering at the time, and now the new manager has come and said, okay, I don't want you anymore in my team, I want someone else, and we can see all of that. Then,
okay, continue.
Okay, then for Arsenal, not just because I'm an Arsenal fan, but when we look at what we have already, the team has been built around some things, and we also have the most stable team. When you talk about from the manager to the players, you take some players now, they've been together for 4, 5, 6 years in the team. So because of that stability, you'll be thinking Arsenal should have the edge over other teams this season. And with the exit of the almighty Pep Guardiola, you expect that Arsenal dominates this very season. We expect, I'm not saying they're dominating, you expect them to dominate.
Yeah, I understand. Okay, so far you started from England. Let's just stay in England.
Okay.
And you mentioned about 3 things that, when it comes to sports, a lot of things will rush into your head. You mentioned about 3 things that I want you to quickly address. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. That I want you to quickly address. You said we should, there'll be new fire. Then that's dovetailed into new managers. Then you spoke about Arsenal, feeling that they may dominate. Talking about the new managers, we have Xabi Alonso, his first time coaching a Premier League club. And of course, you have Maresca that you mentioned, came from City, move up. Chelsea back at City, beating. I don't want to. We can't say 3-0 is walloped, but 3-0 is not. It's more kind of 1-0, 2-0. You can still, but 3-0 was a thorough beating. Let me put it that way by Arsenal.
Yeah.
So these and some other new coaches that have also come on board in the Premier League. So let me start from Alonso. Do you see him turning things around for Chelsea? Because for some years now, Chelsea has not really been kind of stable. Let me put it that way. Do you think he can come up with the stability? A lot of us feel that the Chelsea board will not have the patience of Arsenal that they had with Arteta to build something for Arsenal. So what do you see Xabi Alonso doing at Chelsea this season? Is one of the managers I want to pick on. Then the Maresca that you also mentioned. Do you see him struggling at City? Okay. Beyond what Guardiola has done, because like I said, against Arsenal they were thoroughly beaten. Do you see him struggling? And the last one I want to say is Arsenal dominating. Two players I've seen conversations around from some of your people that you're supporting Arsenal. Yeah. They don't know why sometimes Arteta prefer to bench Gyökeres for Havertz. So, what's your own thought about these three things that I've mentioned?
All right. To begin with, Alonso in Chelsea. Alonso is a very fine manager, if we want to look at it. And his days at Leverkusen spells this. We all know the Bundesliga, and we know how Bayern Munich dominates it. He came at a time where he rejuvenated the team, and they were able to win the Bundesliga, and they went on to, I think, the finals of did they win the Europa League that season?
No.
But they went far. They went into the finals.
2 seasons ago.
2 seasons, okay. So they went very far.
That they lost to Atlanta.
True.
And that was the only game that they lost.
They lost. So when you look at him, and okay, I think that season he also had a very long unbeaten run.
The only game they lost was that Europa League final.
So when you look at it, so I think that Xabi Alonso is a fine coach for Chelsea. But what I don't know is how patient will the Chelsea board be with him, because you don't expect him to do magic all of a sudden with the players he has acquired and with his experience in Real Madrid. So when you look at the Real Madrid situation, it's a big team. So they didn't allow him do what he wants. There are some boys in the team that has the power play. They go to Perez and say, okay, we don't want this guy. And they listen to the boys and not the manager. Hence, he was fired at Real Madrid. Coming to Chelsea, he is going to do well. I think he's going to do well because of how English football is. And with the acquisitions here, he already brought in. And those are there. We talk about Caicedo. We talk about João Pedro. We talk about Esteban is still there. If Enzo Fernandez still stays, then he's going to do a lot for Chelsea. And coming to Maresca in Man City, when we look at the Man City team now, Man City has lost some key figures. First in their coach, Pep Guardiola. Now with Guardiola leaving, Guardiola being on the touchline of Man City alone is some teams dread. They don't want to see a Guardiola on the touchline because they know anything can still happen in the game. With Guardiola gone now, they are rest assured, okay, this person is a newbie. Let's see what's going to offer us. We can push him to the wall. Now, we see Arsenal playing Man City in the Community Shield. We saw how Arsenal played. Now, Arsenal is a team, even when Guardiola was there, when he played open football with Arsenal, we can remember what happened. It was a 5-1 thrashing of Man City. Nobody believed it. Why? Because he played. And when you follow that through, when even Guardiola came, Man City came next to the Emirates, and even at their home, they now play a kind of structured football. Let's not play too open to them, because you play open, Arsenal may punish you. So this season, we have Maresca in charge. We don't know, with big players like Rodri, who just left for Barcelona. We have Bernardo Silva, whose contract ended and he left the team, and a couple of others. When you look at it, it's going to be serious work.
Mr. Joella, let's come home.
Okay.
Let's look at the Nigerian League.
Okay.
I'm not sure it's fair if we want to compare and contrast between the Nigerian League and the European League.
Okay.
It's not quite fair on us.
Yeah.
But why do you think that we're still stuck where we are. At some point we were picking up. During the Abiola Babes and the rest, we were picking up, and then the bar dropped, and it keeps dropping, unfortunately, drastically. It dropped so much that you expect certain players from the Nigerian league in the Super Eagles to be to be pushed and all that, but you don't get to see that. Now let's just do the comparison between the Nigerian league and the European league. What do you think about the difference? Is that huge? What do you think about there are lots of money going into the European league? It's so dominant, lots of players being bought, and it has that much prestige compared to the Nigerian league.
Yeah, I think it is so glaring for all to see, in the sense that in the Western world, you don't have the government owning a team. It is private investors whose money are there. You have people coming from one country to buy a team in another country, and they push in their money, they invest their money, so there is enough money to spend, there's enough money to build stadium, there's enough money for sponsorship. You see companies coming to sponsor teams in the Western world, in Europe, in America, talk about them. But in Nigeria, comparing now, you discover that most of the teams that are owned by the government, and there are not enough resources to take care of these things. And the few ones we have, we don't have that push. You have players playing and not being paid their stipends, as salaries, and you watch the players in the Western world playing, they earn thousands and thousands of pounds, euros per week. You wonder what happens. Now you now see our own players in this nation going abroad. Why? Because of the pay. What do you expect? They've seen greener pasture. They want to move. So that is that. Then when the private investors come into sports, I think another thing is the government should also ease off ownership of some of these sports in Nigeria. When they ease off that and bring in the private investors to put money into the sports, develop our grassroots sports, general, not just soccer, athletics, basketball, cricket. The secondary school I went to at the time dominates cricket in Ogun State. I have friends who traveled out.
So we have people who play cricket in Nigeria?
Yes, we do.
Interesting.
We do have them. So when all of these are looked into, you'll see the results.
Okay, are you saying that some of the reasons, the pointers that you made now, the reasons why they don't have enough fan base compared to the European league? Because I know you are here wearing an Arsenal jersey, yes. And I rarely get to find someone wearing maybe a Gateway United jersey. That's not a job though, but it's the truth. Unfortunately, I rarely get to see that. But so, do you think that's also one of the pointers why they don't have loyal fan base? Yeah, well, as to that, some of these jerseys we put on, whether it's Arsenal, it's Chelsea, Man U, Madrid, Barca. When you look at all of these, at times some of those, like I have a Man U shirt, and I'm not a Man U fan. Why? Because of the design. So not just because I'm an Arsenal fan. Okay. Yes, we want to sport some of our jerseys just to show, okay, this is where I belong. But sometimes, these teams also have what called the merchandise. They sell these things all over the world to make money. But when you look at the quality of what they sell to us, we find value in them. But coming to Nigeria, you don't find value in those jerseys. The quality are not really there. And when we look at, like you said, the popularity, now those days we know about the Abiola Babes, we know of the Shooting Stars, they are still there. Now, recently, I saw the ways, the manner with which 3SC introduce their new signings on social media, take them to some iconic places in the city of Ibadan, and you see them entering Keke Marwa, and they're talking about someone, whereas the person is a new signing in the Keke. So these are ways. So when they do these things to whet the appetite of the community and put it on world space for the indigenes, for Nigerians to see, I think they want to create, let's go and watch, let's go and see what's happening. But when all of these are not there, at times you don't get that sort of support or followership as we expect. So they have to put in the work first.
Yes.
And then the followership follows. Okay.
That's definitely.
Okay, let's go back to Europe. We've spoken about England. Lara has bridged the gap between Nigeria and Europe. Let's traveled to Spain.
Okay.
There are quite a number of new, signings in the La Liga too. You've mentioned Rodri, which is one of the high-profile signings in La Liga. Then you have a Mourinho making a second return. He returned to Chelsea. Now he has returned to Madrid. Talking about La Liga, what should we expect? A lot of times it's usually between Barca, Real, sometimes Atletico, maybe some other clubs come in the picture, Chelsea at some point and all of that. But for this season, what do you think would light up the Spanish La Liga?
For this season, it is still going to be a three-horse race, in the sense that we have Atletico Madrid, we have Real Madrid themselves, and Barcelona. And I don't see Mourinho doing so much magic, even with the amount of Galacticos he has in his team already. You have Mbappe, you have Vinicius, who just renewed his contract. You have Giovanni, who they just signed. You have Bellingham, you have Valverde, and the likes of them. Why I don't see Madrid doing so much is the pedigree I've seen Mourinho have in recent times. After his dominance with Chelsea in England, he left, he came to some other English clubs. He was at Tottenham, he didn't really get it right. He was at Man U, he won a trophy for them after that, but it was not really the Mourinho we used to know. Now he went to Fenerbahce, he came back with little or nothing. He equally went to Portugal with Benfica. He didn't do so much. Now with all of these, I don't see Mourinho giving that sort of result that he gave while he was particularly at Chelsea, the trophy winning, the mentality and the likes. But I think what he has in that Madrid dressing room, because of the sort of players we have in Madrid at this time, they need someone who can handle the egos of the players, and Mourinho is one person I think can actually do that. So I don't, but in terms of competition, I don't see them actually meeting up with Barcelona. I don't see them.
So you're still looking at Barca still maybe this season, or edging it this season.
Yeah.
Anyway, talking about Mourinho, you spoke more about when he was at Chelsea, but don't forget that the three best, spell he had. You talked about his first time at Chelsea, when he was at Madrid. He had challenge in Europe, but wasn't too far in Europe too, but did well La Liga. Then when he was at Inter
Milan, yeah.
So why I'm mentioning those two is that Madrid happened to be one of those places that also did well. So when you look at that, don't you think that will also help?
I think the only thing Mourinho did at Madrid at the time was to win the La Liga. I think they were able to get some 100 points at a time, but he was not able to win the Champions League for them.
Yeah.
He wasn't able to do it. So, like I said, I'm not talking about the very initial Mourinho that we knew. I'm talking about the Mourinho I've seen with Benfica, Mourinho that I saw with Fenerbahce, the Mourinho that I saw at Tottenham, and some rough times as well at Manchester United. So with those things, I don't think he has so much to do.
So the Barca fans should be...
I think they should be happy, they should be relaxed. With the signing of Rodri, and they have some additions up front like Gordon. If they click into the team as fast as possible, I think they will have a good ride.
Okay.
Yeah, you keep going to the Europe and the La Liga, and I just want to stay home.
Okay.
Yes, because I'm a big fan of home.
Okay.
So now, when you talk about a lot of great players here that are having good sign up, good, selling, profit margin and all that. Now let's talk about African players. I know that a few actually breaking the bounds. Osimhen is doing great in Turkey. Some other ones are doing great where they are, but there's still the gap. The gap is still there. Recently, I saw an interview of JJ Okocha, and the kind of constraint that he met when he left the country to play in Germany, and then lots of players. When I read the comment section, lots of other players and some other African football stars were saying the same thing, that okay, this happens, it's still happening, and they are not sure, but they just try twice as hard, 3 times as hard to prove themselves. So why do you think there's this much gap? They have the talent. I believe that football is a talent game and a game of hard work.
Okocha said you have to be 10 times better as an African player to stand a chance like a European player.
So why is there so much constraint, against the African players? That's one. And then two, we talked about the Nigerian League. Now let's go to Africa. We have the CAF, the Champions League and some other league. And then why is there still so much limitation on those ones? That's like outside the shores of Nigeria. So why do we still have so much limitations as Africans, really?
Okay, as for African players in the Western world and why they work 10 times harder, it is a strange land. It is a strange land. You are not in your own comfort zone. Wherever you do, you are easily praised and applauded. You go to a new place, they want to see what you have. There are some things that equally debars African players. There's age cheating. You said you are.
Do they have to do that?
The world we are in, everybody wants to make ends meet. If I go here and I tell them I'm 40 years old, and they look at me like, how many years do you have that you can play? You may be strong and all that, but you have to just, do the hate cheat thing. When you do that and you just find yourself in a situation, then you want to work hard because you don't want to go back home. There was a reason why you left your home to come to where you are. So you need that hard work. Okocha was lucky because he was a fine player. He played with Ronaldinho at PSG and he did well. We saw him at Bolton Wanderers. He was so good, they named him twice. He did so well. So he proved his mettle. We saw Kanu Nwako, we saw the Didier Drogbas at Chelsea. They did the hard work and they came into limelight like that. So I don't see that as you are the one who knows, okay, I want a job, I'm in the job, I want to stay on the job, I need to prove myself.
Okay.
So I'm not sent back. But that is how I see it. Then come to African football. I think if you look at the African coast for football, you will discover that it is the South African League that gets the best coverage because I think they have good private investors in there. You watch the Sundowns, you watch the Kaiser Chiefs, and you see their jersey, you see how they celebrate growth, how the games are televised. You don't see players, beating referee on the pitch. But in some part of Africa, you see players.
You see fans
and players. Yes, throwing stuff, even leaving the
podium.
The podium and coming right into the pitch just to come and show their grievances. It is not done. So they are not secured and they may not really enjoy that.
Okay.
I wanted to talk about the Serie A because, in recent times, we've also seen that Italian clubs are also pulling their weight on the continent. So, talking about Serie A this season, Inter, AC, gradually getting better. So, which club are you tipping to actually excite us in Italy and maybe on the continent in European competitions?
Yeah, I will tip. This is not final. It's just opinion. I will tip Inter Milan to still go all the way in Italy because I think they have been more stable under Christian Kivu. Kivu came in, I think, 2 seasons ago and is doing a yeoman's job. And the team is, I think, the most stable in the Serie A. Now, we have also Juventus. I think Juventus this season will be next to them.
Okay.
I think they will be next to them with their additions if they don't do too much of selling. I heard Arsenal are interested in Yildiz. If Kenan Yildiz leaves, they'll be losing a key player because they value Yildiz a lot. I think they want to make him the anchor part of the team on which the team is built. So when you look at that, I think Inter has the edge. AC Milan with Ruben Amorim as coach now will be trying to stabilize the team and at least get Champions League football. Then we have Como, who were the newbies last season from nowhere. Fabregas is doing pretty good with them. So if you look at it, so Como may only pull some kind of surprise, but the team I feel are going to be turning champions might still be Inter Milan.
Okay, so Mr. Joyela, which particular club is your favorite in Nigerian League? That's not fun, it's obvious.
Yes, actually I don't have anyone in particular.
Why?
But if I would choose, I would choose the one from my own immediate environment. That's Gateway, because I'm an region of the state.
Okay, I'll let that rest.
Why not shoot
I have a lot to say about that, but I'll just let it go.
But to be candid, I used to support Enyimba.
Okay.
Yes, I used to support
Is it
Enyimba.
because of their Champions League success?
Not because of that, because I think then they dominated the football in Nigeria. When we had some coaches, when we have some players, like Enyimba and the likes.
Okay, so do you watch those matches at the viewing centers? Because I know, yeah, the European League make people go to the viewing centers, the lounges, the bars, as a contributor to the economy. Do you also do that for the local league?
I don't do that because there is nobody who wants to televise it. It's not sellable. But when there are matches, maybe continental matches, when our brothers from Remo Stars were having the Champions League matches played, I come to the stadium and I watch them.
Let me quickly drop this. Rangers are going to be playing their continental games in Abeokuta. Which other club? Shooting Stars are also going to be playing their continental, their CAF Confederation Cup in Abeokuta. So you have the opportunity of watching Rangers and Shooting Stars on the continent.
Definitely, I'll go this season.
And you like to see them?
I would like to see them, definitely.
Yes. I don't know if we have the time.
The viewing centers, I don't know, Timothy seems to be very concerned about viewing centers. I think it's a level. And what do you feel about them, the contribution to the economy? Are you a big fan of viewing centers? Don't let me say anything. Because the noise sometimes from viewing centers.
That's part of the
noise.
People.
Okay, please.
Okay, for viewing centers, I would say I used to, when I was younger, say some 5-6 years ago, I go there to watch matches because, like you said, the aura,
the ambience,
and all of the things you hear people say. But it got to a time where your team loses and you say one thing and somebody is standing up and wants to beat you because you said this. Why are you going to say that about my team? And if you're not well guided, you will go home with some scars. So when I saw it's been happening, some matches go into the night. When you're not going and you are alone, and anything happens, they will tell you, where are you coming from? Can't you? So I devised means of just saying.
Still, they have their positivities.
Yeah, they do.
Well, I think, Lara, it's also an opportunity for us to say this, that for those that go out to watch matches and cause chaos and all that, that's not what a film center is meant for. It's meant for the fun. So, like, they are denying of the ambience that we would have loved to do. As the season begins, we're also urging you that when you go out to watch football matches, just stay peaceful, enjoy the games, don't cause any crisis, and for security operatives too, we know they are doing their best, so that we wish that security situation will be better, so that people can be safe while watching this match.
Okay, quickly, we'd like to go through the signings, the new signings.
Okay.
Now that we're seeing the crossovers, the signings, and all that.
Yeah, like I said, come to Arsenal. We just got Bruno.
Bruno.
Yeah,
you just had to start with
Arsenal. And also we had Ilan Meslier from Leeds as a free transfer as the goalkeeper. We equally have what was it called now? We have this guy Zolis, okay, from Club Brugge. We have him and he's doing well already. And finally, we've just made the deal of Nkapie. We just made the deal permanent. Then at Chelsea, like I mentioned earlier, they have Pelestra, they have Welbeck, they have Anderson, and some other guys.
Okay, because of our time, because we have to wrap up now, there's another important thing I want you to touch on, and that is the amount that some of these players have been signed for. One day, a lot of people were even surprised that Madrid went for him, and with the amount that they got. But that's even not like on the outside. When you look at some other players, you look at how much they are signing them. What do you think about the huge amount?
Yeah, for the signings, I think is how the market is now. The market now is volatile, and if you don't pay, you don't get the player. And for Diomande, he is a young player, just 19 years of age, if I'm not mistaken. So he has a lot of future ahead of him. So they are not just buying him for what he's good at, but for the future. So
it's the market. So you would say it's the market. So when we talk about the signings and the amount that Ronaldo gets in the Arabian country, right?
Yeah.
It's the market too. And it's his value.
Okay. It's the value.
Okay.
It's the value.
All right, I think we have to wrap up.
Okay, we have to go already. Many things.
Oh,
joining us on the program was quite insightful talking to you on the program. Trending is up next. Please stay with us. you.